are going to start our new mathematics chapter from CBSE class 10, that is real numbers. Actually, we have been learning about number system since our standard 6. We know that the first system of numbers that we have developed was natural numbers. Natural numbers, we know that natural numbers first, it is a set of numbers which start from 1 to infinity. We know natural numbers start from 1 and ends to infinity. It means we cannot tell the last natural number of the natural number system. Then we develop system of whole numbers. Whole numbers we know start from 0 to infinity. Actually, we know the use of 0 is very important in number system for better understanding the related concepts. Then the number system got evolved and we got the next system which was revolutionary, that is integers. We know integers are the numbers which consist of all positive numbers, look, all positives, then all negatives, including 0. After that, we got some limitations on number operations within these domains. So, we had to discover another number system which was also very important, that is called rational numbers. We learned about rational numbers up to our standard 8th. We know rational numbers, as the name suggests, we have rational numbers related with ratios. Means the numbers which can be written in the form P over Q given the condition that Q is not 0. We know we cannot divide any number by 0 because dividing by 0 is an undefined operation. So P over Q, here Q is not 0, is called rational number. For example, we know 2 over 3, it is in the form P over Q, so it's a rational number. Now we know negative 3 by 2, it is also a rational number, which is nothing but negative rational number. Then some people get confused that whether 2 is a rational number or not, because some students think 2 is natural number or it's a whole number or it's a positive integer, and it is very hard for the students to imagine that 2 also has the denominator 1, because denominator is not equal to 0, so here nothing means not 0, it is 1. So 2 over 1, it is also can be written in the form P over Q, where Q is 1. So here we have to know that all natural numbers are rational numbers. All whole numbers are also rational numbers because 0 also can be written as 0 over 1. Again we can see denominator is not 0 here because 0 over 1 is the result 0. So all whole numbers are also rational numbers. Obviously we know that all natural and whole numbers are integers here. But whole numbers and natural numbers do not consist negative numbers. So in integers we included the new domain of all negative numbers here. So that at last we can say set of natural numbers, whole numbers and integers along with integers, these all are rational numbers. We also know there is a property of rational number that if we divide such numbers which are in the form p over q like this, for example, we have 1 over 2, it can be written in decimal form as 0.5, because 1 by 2 is nothing but half. Half has decimal expression as 0.5. Here we can see the denominator is 2, means when we divide 1 by 2, we have a terminating division. Means what? Terminating division means here we get the final answer at 0.5. It cannot be further extended. So it is terminated, it is ended. But what about 1 by 3, 1 over 3? When we divide 1 over 3, we get 0.333 and so on. We know that this can be written as 0.3 bar. Here we know these rational numbers which are in the form p over q, but these or such type of examples of rational numbers do not have terminating division. They do not have terminating decimal expansion. This is non-terminating. Look, non-terminating, but 3 is getting repeated again and again. So non-terminating but recurring. Recurring means repeating itself. Here the digit 3 repeats itself, so it is another form of rational numbers. So rational numbers may be terminating, and another form of rational numbers is non-terminating recurring. But now we will discuss the new concept which will be dealt in this lesson along with rational numbers is irrational numbers. We have discussed about rational numbers, means the numbers which can be written in the form p over q where q is not 0. We also now better know that rational numbers are consist of natural numbers, whole numbers, integers. But another set of numbers that we found by evolution in mathematics, that some numbers are irrational. We know rational and irrational means which are not rational. Look, which are not rational. In simple language, which are not rational are irrational. It is opposite of rational numbers. Irrational means these numbers cannot be written, cannot be written here in the form p by q. We can't write this. Which number are there which exist as irrational numbers? So simply we can say the square root of 2, square root of 3, root 5, root 7, root 10 and etc. We know we can easily tell the root of 1, that is 1, square root of 4 is 2, square root of 9 is 3. These all are rational numbers. But what about these numbers? We know we already learned the division method of finding the square root of the numbers. These numbers are known as irrational numbers because their division, look, their decimal expansion of these numbers is non-terminating. Means if we continuously divide these numbers using square root by division method, we get the non-terminating decimal numbers, and surprisingly we find these are also non-recurring, means no digit or set of digits or numbers is recurring itself. You won't find any digit or the set of digits which are recurring. So irrational numbers which cannot be written in the form p by q and their decimal expansion is non-terminating, non-recurring. In this lesson, furthermore, as we progress in this lesson, we will know by the proof that how to prove the given number is irrational number. Because irrational numbers can be experienced by the decimal expansion which are non-terminating. But this is impossible to determine or decide that whether the division of decimal expansion is terminating or not. By what extent of the division we can go further, we don't know. So that the decimal expansion of irrational numbers is non-terminating and non-recurring. Before going such system, we have discussed about two main number sets. Look, first one is rational numbers and second one is irrational numbers. Irrational numbers. We now know that rational numbers include natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, and irrational numbers means which numbers are not rational. So set of rational and irrational numbers together called set of real numbers. Okay. So now real numbers and very important operation related with real numbers will be discussed in this lesson. Okay. So in real numbers, in this lesson, now we are going to start the Euclid's division lemma. Okay. Now we discussed about the set of rational and irrational numbers which together called as set of real numbers. So in real numbers, your curriculum is consist of the main concept that is known as Euclid's division lemma. What does mean by actually lemma? Lemma is nothing but a procedure, or we can say it's a method, or it's a kind of algorithm. For example, here we can take, as this name suggests, it is the method to find out the division. So that we can see here we have a division example here. What does this division means? It means 12 divided by 5. We know conceptually the meaning of division. 12 is divided by 5 means how many times 5 goes into 12. So we know this traditional method of writing the division. When 12 is divided by 5, our quotient is 2. It gives 10. When 12 minus 10, we get 2 as our remainder. We know here 5 is divisor. The number which divides is called divisor. The number which is to be divided, we know that is called dividend. Here we have number of times that divisor goes into the dividend is called quotient. So here 5 goes 2 times in 12 which gives 10. So here 2 is our quotient and the last number that we have here is our remainder. So we know this world famous formula or this relation between these four terms. We know that dividend is equal to divisor into quotient. You can see here our divisor is 5, quotient is 2. And their relation is of multiplication. When 5 is multiplied by 2, we get 10 here, 10, and when we add here plus 2, means look here, this is our 12, we write here 12, divisor that is 5 times quotient is 2 plus remainder is 2. We know that here by Borma's procedure 5 times 2 is 10, 10 plus 2 gives 12. So easily we have verified here this relation between four terms. So 12 is equal to 5 into 2 plus 2. Now before going to Euclid's division lemma, we will go to set some symbols for these variables. We will show now dividend by the letter small a, divisor by small letter b, we have Q for quotient, that is Q, and R for remainder. So A is equal to BQ plus R. This is the structural form of Euclid's division lemma. But some important things we can see here. What will happen when we divide 12 by 5? At last we get the remainder as 2. We can see if we want to divide this 2 by 5, it must be known that these two remainder must be here less than 5. Look here what happens. Remainder R. This is very important condition. We know that if A is equal to BQ plus R, where R is equal to or greater than 0. What does this mean? Means remainder may be 0. What will happen if we remove this 12 and put 10 here? Then we know that 5 2s are 10. 10 minus 10 gives 0. Means remainder can be 0. It can be easily found using this example. We have changed here example like this. Now you can see 10 divided by 5 gives quotient as 2 and remainder 0. If 11 is here, then our remainder will be 1. You can see here, if we have 12, then remainder is 2. We have 13, remainder is 3. Look here what happens. If this is 4, we have remainder as 4. Look, very interesting pattern we see here. If we have 15, then we have quotient as 3 and remainder 0. Now we can see 15, 15, quotient is here 3 and the remainder is 0. Now here we can see again, if we have 16, then we see remainder is 1. So we can see here our remainder may be 0, 1, 2, R may be here 0, remainder we had 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Remainder here we cannot find equal to 5. Remainder is not 5 here. Because if remainder is 5, the number will be completely divisible, which will give return us that remainder as 0. So most important concept for R is here that value of R may be 0 or greater than 0. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 are greater than 0. But R is always less than what is our divisor. Divisor is here B, which is 5. This is the most important step understanding Euclid's division lemma. So, in short we can say a number in division form can be written in this form. A is equal to BQ plus R. A dividend, B is divisor, Q is quotient and R is remainder. But R is always equal to or greater than 0, but it must be less than our divisor, which is B. Okay, so Euclid division lemma is used to find out the HCF. HCF, we know, highest common factor. It is also known as GCD, greatest common divisor. So we can use Euclid division lemma to find out the HCF of 2 or more than 2 numbers using this form and this condition. So after a bit we will take an example to explore this formula. Euclid's division lemma is used to find the HCF of 2 or more than 2 numbers. Look, here we have taken an example 25 and 15. It means we have to find out the HCF of 25 and 15. HCF is nothing but highest common factor. Means we have to find out the factors of 25 and 15. That is F. That factors we have should be used so that we can take only common factors. Then there may be some common factors in 25 and 15, that is C, common, and out of these common factors we have to choose the highest factor or the greatest factor, that is h. So highest common factor is HCF. But we can use here Euclid's division lemma, this form that we have discussed earlier, to find out the HCF of 25 and 15. But we know that when we divide a number to by another number, then the divisor here we take less than the dividend. So here we have the 15 is less than 25. It means we can take 15 as our divisor and 25 is our dividend. According to our Euclid's division lemma, A is dividend. So 25 is our dividend. B is divisor. Then we have 15 as divisor. Q and R we can find when we divide these two numbers. Okay. But we should keep in our mind that R is equal to 0 or greater than 0, but it must be less than B. Means remainder is always 0 or greater than 0, but it must be less than the divisor. Okay, we will go using this form. Look, I will write here B into Q plus R. A is equal to BQ plus R. A is our 25. Look, it is very interesting. 25. Now B is our divisor. So we are dividing 25 by 15. So we take the table of 15. 15 was the 15, 15 to the 30. 15 to the 30 will be greater than 25. So we take 15 ones are 25. So 1 is our quotient. So 15 ones are 15. So 25 minus 15, our remainder is 10. Look, we can use Euclid's division lemma to find out the HCF by this division method, but our division will end. Look, listen carefully. Our process of division will end when our remainder is 0. Look, when R is 0, then B is our HCF. This is the important rule. We should know where to stop, so that, mind it, when remainder becomes 0, means our procedure of division is ended, then at that time when our remainder becomes 0, the value of B means our divisor at that time, at the state where R becomes 0, is our HCF. Now we can see here R is not 0. Here we can see R is not 0. So we can continue our procedure. But while continuing this procedure, I will put it here in vertical form so that you can understand very easily. What we have done, 15 ones are 50 is 10. That is our remainder 10. Remainder is not 0, so we will continue our lemma. Now what happens, when remainder is not 0, then remainders become divisor. Here our remainder is 10, so it becomes divisor, and our divisor becomes our dividend. So this 15 will come here. What happened? You can see. Remainder became now here divisor, and our divisor became our new dividend. So now we divide 15 by 10. What will happen? 10 ones are 10. Now we have 5. Sorry. 5 is our remainder. Again, R is not 0. So we will continue our procedure. Now, remainder as divisor and divisor as dividend. 10. Now 5 to the 10. We use remainder as 0. Wow. Here we have completed our procedure, because now at this state remainder is 0. So what is our condition? When R is 0, then B is HCF. Look here, this is A, this is B into Q plus R. In short, we can say R is 0, then B is 5. So HCF of 25 and 15 is 5.